Hey everybody, Lara here to talk to you about some alternative ways to solo game. You know, during this pandemic, we've had to find, and I've been fortunate to find, new solo variants and new solo games have come out onto the market. But after a while, setting up a board, setting out pieces, learning new rules from a rulebook gets a little daunting. So I found some other ways that you can scratch that itch and find out new things that are out there in the hobby. Today we're going to start with graphic novel adventures from Van Ryder Games. This particular book is Sherlock Holmes 4 Investigations. And so today we will both get into it together. I also have to mention that here with me is my adorable canine companion, Lucy. She's our little Chiweenie, half Chihuahua, half Dachshund, or weenie dog, and all love. So she's going to be joining me on each of these videos and lending me some moral support, right, Lucy? Now, I do want to let you know there will be spoilers, but there are 4 investigations and we're only going to be doing the first one, which is more of a tutorial. And so after that, you can feel free to go on and explore however you like throughout the book. So why don't we go ahead and dive in? All right, so here's my book, and we're going to turn to the first page here. We have an investigation sheet, and this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 4 cases that we will be exploring. You can see that there are places where we would need to fill in information. I'm not going to be doing that here in this tutorial just because I want the book to be fresh and be able to pass it along to other people. So I'm going to be writing anything down that I need to on this sheet of paper over here. So let's start here. So we're going to start here on the first page at number 1. And it looks like we're on a street in London. And this mysterious person is delivering some envelopes here. And oh, the mailbox here says S. Holmes. So we know that this is going to the hero of our story. No? What do you mean, no? Holmes, don't you want me to work on your investigation? I didn't say that, Watson. My words are more nuanced, you see. I'm simply working on a very sensitive case, and for the moment your small mind would hold me back more than it would serve me. Your nuance is even worse than the words themselves. Look, Watson, I received word anonymously of several mysteries that need solving. I must study them to ensure they are not traps. It's particularly fastidious work. Well, let's be efficient. When you are certain a case is legitimate, leave it to me while you verify the legitimacy of the other cases. I don't know. It didn't go very well the last time I let you take the reins. On the contrary, I thought it went quite well. We nearly died on several occasions. Which means that we evaded death each time. Agreed. I have verified this one. It's only 2 steps away, and I don't see how it could be a frame job. I suppose I could let you have it. Spectacular, Holmes. I won't disappoint you. Oh, do read the title before you get packing. Seriously? On the back of the piece of paper that Dr. Watson has pulled out of the envelope, there is a number 42. So the way that these work, anytime we see one of those numbers, we're going to flip until we find a frame with that matching number. So now that we see this 42, we're going to have to flip pages until we find that number. That doesn't correspond with a page number. It corresponds with frame numbers. So we're going to look through, and you have to look at the bottom. See, there are several numbered frames on a page. So we're going to go until we see 42, and it is the Cat of Baker Street. Hey, what do you know? That matches up with the first case. All right, noted by Dr. John Watson. No 2 days are the same when Sherlock Holmes is around. One thing is certain, however, though he is a man with a sharp and admirable intellect, it is his ability to make you feel inferior that has no equal. As I dwell on these moments, I find clever retorts, things I wished I had said. But in the moment, all I ever manage to say is, Haven't we all been there? You know, you had some kind of moment earlier in the day, or maybe even several days ago, and then you're, I don't know, folding laundry or taking a walk, and that's when you think of that really cool, witty comeback you could have said. I feel you, Dr. Watson. And close the door. I need silence in order to concentrate. As you wish, Holmes. All right, so it looks like we are going Yes, it is right next door. 219. So we will flip to find frame 219. So it is something that you have to be honest about, that when you're flipping through the pages, try not to look what's on those other pages, because as you can see, I'm going through frames that are used in other cases, and I don't want to know anything ahead of time. All right, 219, you are about to begin investigating your first case. We recommend you note anything that seems pertinent to solving the case on a sheet of paper. From now on, you may now choose to go to any number that appears in the frame you're currently visiting. So there are two numbers here. I've got a 115 and 270. Why don't we just start left to right and start with 115? Just my rule of thumb personally. 115. Closed and no one is answering. Retrace your steps to 219. Well, shucks. Good thing, though, I kept my finger on the page. That's probably something you have to do. You'll have to do a lot when you do these. Now let's go to 270. Dr. Watson, you've come to help me? All alone? All right, it's better than nothing. It's Mrs. Hudson, your landlord. Go to 67. Okay, here we are at frame 67. Mrs. Hudson, what are you doing here? You live with us at 221. This building belongs to me too. I intend to rent the apartment on the landing. This is sort of my caretaker suite. So, can you tell me what happened? It's my cat. She's disappeared. My little Rosalie, I keep her here. Mr. Holmes doesn't like seeing her around 221. This is what I remember. As I do every day, I came here to feed Rosalie. Meow. Oh, I see that you've finished your bowl. I stayed a few minutes to keep her company. Then I filled her food and water bowls. While I did so, Rosalie walked out into the hall. But while I was bending down, something hit me hard on the back of my head. I heard several identical but muted sounds, then nothing. I don't know how long I was out for. When I regained consciousness, I was laying on the floor. Rosalie was gone. I looked for her in the caretaker suite in the hall. That stayed closed. I called out her name. No trace of her anywhere. I can totally sympathize with Mrs. Hudson being so scared about her cat being gone, because that's exactly how I'd feel if you were missing, Lucy. Don't ever run away. Quite strange. May I ask you a few questions? Ask me anything you like if you think it would help you find my Rosalie. It's up to you. Ask Mrs. Hudson the right questions at 3. So now we'll go find frame number 3. All right. Here it is. You can only ask 4 questions. Choose wisely and pay attention, because certain questions could offend your witness and cause her to refuse to answer further questions. For each question asked, mark the corresponding checkbox with a pencil. You do not have to ask the questions right now. You can return later on. Actions like the one at the bottom right of this frame are not counted as questions. All right, so yes, there are checkboxes in all of those except for this one down here. And that one says you can examine the wound on her head. Well, seeing as we're playing as Dr. Watson, I think that would be the first thing that he would do. So that's going to be the first thing that I do. We're going to examine her head wound. So for this, we need to turn to 273. Okay, oh my. Okay, being a doctor, John Watson can examine victims and bodies. The wound Mrs. Hudson suffered is long, thin, and fairly straight. What do you think could have left a mark like this? If you think it's a club, turn to 178. If you think it's a hammer, turn to 23. And if you think it was a door, turn to 183. All right, let's talk through this. A club, I don't see that leaving a long, thin line like that, especially, and it looks like it's red, like more like a cut. A club has a blunt edge, not a sharp edge, so I'm gonna kind of count that one out. A hammer obviously wouldn't leave a long line. That would leave like a small point and would be very dangerous to hit somebody on the head with. So I think it might be the door, especially because from the illustrations, it looked like she was close to the door, and the edge of the door could definitely leave a long, thin line like that. Let's turn to 183 with the answer, a door. All right, the door. You think the corner of the door hit me? Lucy, I'm not sure about this one. Do you think we're going in the right direction? Of course you do. Mrs. Hudson, let me try something in 95. I think I understand. Does this noise remind you of anything? And he slammed the door. That's what I heard before I fainted. So it was the door slamming that knocked you out. But I heard the noise twice, almost instantly, one after the other. Exactly. But there's only the... Oh, that was Mrs. Hudson. But there's only the one door in the caretaker's suite. So if it didn't come from here, it came from... There's a door across the way. 190. Oh, wait. We haven't asked her any questions yet. We just looked at her head wound. Let's go back and ask her some questions. Let's see. That was on, I think, page 3 or frame 3. Yes. Okay. All right. So remember, we can also offend her and she might stop asking questions or stop answering. So let's see here. Is Rosalie a purebred cat? Is she worth anything? Does your old age cause you to forget some things? Avoid that question. Was the door to 219 locked when you arrived? Who possesses copies of the keys? What's behind the door on the landing opposite from here? And was your window open? Okay, let's start with this one. What's behind the door on the landing opposite from here? And that's the answer to that is on 155. Oh, look, I turned right to it. Okay. It's the apartment of a future tenant. He has the keys, but there's no one there at the moment. He'll be moving in here in a few weeks. Return to 3. Okay. Was the door to 219 locked when you arrived? That's on, goodness, frame 8. Yes, it was locked. I made sure to close it behind me. If not, I would have told you. Oh, sorry. Okay. Turn to 3. I guess we should ask who else has copies of the keys, just in case there's any, like, super or repairman she hires out for that place. Let's see. The tenant of the apartment across the hall. He has keys to the main entrance and his lodgings, but not the caretaker's suite. I gave them to him during our interview several weeks ago, but he wasn't supposed to move in until next month. Return to 3. All right, so I've asked 3 questions. I can ask her one more. Why don't we ask about the window? Because I really feel like those other 2 questions have the potentiality to offend. So 16, let's see. Was your window open? Yes, but it has bars on it, as you can see, specifically to keep Rosalie from escaping. All right, so that's all the questions I have. Then the door across the hall is 190. So then maybe she can let us in since we knocked on it earlier and it was locked. All right. No, it doesn't bother me to have you visit the apartment. The tenant isn't even moving in for a few weeks still. It would surprise me if this was the door I heard slam. All right, so now the door itself has a number 48 on it. So we're going to follow that now and turn to frame 48. Inside the apartment, it says, go wherever you like. If you've seen enough, you can attempt to solve the mystery in 33 or ask for hints in 129. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. I like to go left to right, so let's start here with number 96. Noted by John Watson, the room was quite small, perfect for a bachelor. Okay, so there's nothing in here. I mean, it's the bed that's furnished by, I'm sure, by, what's her name?
Hudson?
Mrs. Hudson. It's furnished by Mrs. Hudson. But there's another number here, 30, for a room that comes off of that. So let's go check that out. All right, just a bathroom. Back to 48. So the wall up here is 46. Let's see what that says. Oh, Holmes's office is on the other side of this wall. I can hear him playing the violin. Here I was thinking he was trapped under a mountain of work. All right, we can check out this drawer, 202. Noted by John Watson, in this drawer there was a typewriter key. What a strange find. I decided to take it with me. Note that you found a key at the bottom of your investigation sheet found at the beginning of this book. Return to 48. Okay, so I'm going to make note of that up here. Let's make sure kind of match up with the sheet. I'm one of those people. Yeah. I guess we're going to be finding a lot. So I'll just tick it off. All right, return to 48. All right, we have one more number over here, 231, and it's right below the window. All right, oh, the window closed looks out to a courtyard. Return to 48. Okay, well, we've checked everything out. So then let's go to 33 to attempt to solve the mystery. Let's see. All right. It's time to get to the bottom of this. Where is Rosalie to be found? Choose a location and write the corresponding number on your investigation sheet at the beginning of this book. Attention, these numbers do not correspond to frames. They are simply numbers corresponding to these answers. So it shows like Holmes's office, courtyard, tenant's living room, his bedroom and washroom, the caretaker suite, and then the street. And they all have a blue number corresponding to them. So like they said, we're not going to be turning to that frame number. We're just going to write it down. And once you've made your choice, go to 111. All right, so for Mrs. Hudson's cat, which number do we want? Where do we think that pesky cat went? So the only access to the courtyard is through a closed window or a window with bars on it. So I don't think she's going to be out in the courtyard. If Mrs. Hudson heard 2 banging sounds, that would have to be the door to her suite, and if this door was locked, the front door. So then, and it would have to be in that order. Her door hit, because it hit her in the head first, and then she heard it bang, and then another bang, which would be the front door. So I think the cat's out on the street. So I'm going to write down the corresponding number for that. That's 42. And then we're supposed to turn to 111. Mrs. Hudson, I think I know where to find Rosalie. Look, I've marked it out on the map. If the two of us go to verify... Watson, quit amusing yourself and follow me. I need you. Can you believe that, Lucy? I mean, the way that he treats Dr. Watson... Come on. But I was just about to take Mrs. Hudson to her cat. Our landlord has legs. She can take herself there. Come, this is urgent. Don't worry, you will complete this first investigation later on at the end of your adventure. For now, follow Holmes to 49. What's happening? What's going on? Okay. Here it is. Okay. Tell me, Holmes, what's on your mind? I've made 2 discoveries on the dossiers we received. The first, that they are authentic. They are real investigations. The second is, I've identified the person who sent them to us. None other than Professor Moriarty. Your nemesis? But he died after your fight at Reichenbach Falls. Don't forget that you believed I was dead for 3 years. It may well be that he staged his own death. And he wants us to know. He could have easily left no trace on the mail. He is genius, after all. But then, let's not investigate these cases. They're clearly traps. It's too late. The cat of Baker Street was part of the lot. He sent us 3 mysteries, each with a list of suspects to help us along. As you did before, he wants us to respond in the form of a number. What's even more strange, however, I found a typewriter key and a note inviting us to find them all. Apparently they can be found hidden among the scenery. Note that you found a typewriter key. Check. Take note, if you return to a frame and if you've already visited, you may not collect a new key that you've previously found. Nice try. Okay. But that's not all. There's also a document that Moriarty calls the Index. He assembled the addresses of all the locations and persons of interest pertinent to our investigations. You can find the index at 170. So, Watson, which investigation would you like to start with? Okay, from now on, you may choose which case you would like to attempt to solve, and you have the choice of being Dr. John Watson or Sherlock Holmes. Very cool. Okay, so with Dr. Watson, you can ask 4 questions. He can ask Holmes for hints, and he may examine a victim's body. That's very useful. And his specific actions are this beige color. So then with Holmes, he can only ask 3 questions during an investigation, and he can use his powers of deduction, which will help you ask useful questions. And his question or his specific actions are in these blue boxes. The investigations are otherwise the same. If you choose Holmes, your job will be more difficult. You may choose a different character for each investigation. Continue to 50. Now you must choose which investigation to begin and as which character. So then it lists the other 3 cases that they have in the book and a different frame to start as depending upon which character you want to be. Once you've completed the 3 investigations, go to 317. So there you have it. You write down the number that you pick to be the solution to each case, and you keep track of those. And then once you've done all 3 of these, you go to 317 and see if you got it right, I'm pretty sure. So that's how a graphic novel adventure works, particularly for Sherlock Holmes. I will say, you saw the artwork, you heard what the case was like. This is very different from Captive, which is another book that we did, Spencer and I. That one's a lot more dark. That's not something that I would particularly want to share with like my children or maybe people under the age of, I don't know, 13, maybe 12, just because it's kind of serious matters in there. But other than that, and it's all one big case. It's not divided up into 4 like this one. So, I mean, it's a start to finish. You go all the way through it. Okay, great. I'm so glad we got this started. So that's our first one that we're going to take a look at. Next time you join us here on the channel for my next video, we're also going to be exploring this Wish You Were Here postcard series where I'm getting postcards from like a serial killer or something and I'm trying to track him down. And also this fun little thing I found from Ravensburger. They are escape puzzles. Fascinating, right? I know you're interested. So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click for alerts so that you know when the next video comes out. And until next time, don't let the board game hobby get you down. Just lighten up.